Our next guest he's born in Austria. He's already here. Let me just give me 2 seconds and I present. You can stay here, you can stay here. Bueno, you're from Austria, but you moved to Brazil in the age of 16, is that right? Huh? 16 years ago. Thanks that you're next to me because, okay. Moved to Brazil, great. And so you become working as a designer, art director, until he found his social company, Pano Social, yes? And in 2002, he was awarded by the International Brown Design Prize for the designer of his communication robot, right? Please welcome Gerfried Gaulhofer. Welcome.
Hola, hola. Gracias.
Vamos a sambar un poquito.
No samba. First of all, thanks for having me here at Miami Fashion Summit. It's quite an honor to talk alongside so beautiful people and great minds. Okay, image is there. So before I go into what I'm doing today in Sao Paulo, I just go a little bit back in time to explain a little bit how it came, what I'm doing today. So I moved there 16 years ago to Brazil. The idea was just to stay 6 months and to see, you know, the open horizon and to see a little bit more of the planet. I haven't left Europe until then. And so I went to Sao Paulo and, okay, it works like this. And I used to live in the center of Sao Paulo. It was quite a cultural shock for me as an Austrian, imagine. And what was quite impacting was, on the one hand, television in Brazil, you know. So it's, you see mainly half-naked women, and on the other side you see plenty of violence and criminality and stuff like this. So they give you an image that it's quite a dangerous place to be. But at the same time, I was moving around freely 24 hours in the center of Sao Paulo. I had my laptop in my backpack, and I was wearing the Havaianas, the flip-flop, which is the you know, how do you call them, the people cutting the waist until the rich people or people are using the same flip-flops. So I didn't, you know, didn't make sense to me, you know. A little later I understood that security is quite a big economical issue as well, you know. But in my understanding, you can't have walls high enough to be secure, you can't have bulletproof cars. Nothing of this will bring you definitely security or make you secure. So security is not a state. I see it more as a process, and this process is for sure a long process. And in the first time, so half a year passed, I still didn't get it, you know, what's going on in Brazil, and so I was not ready to go back. And so I decided what I could do, you know, for living. And as an industrial designer, I studied industrial design in Austria. I was thinking about a product. Sustainability was made quite clear at the university already. So I was thinking about to make an upcycling product. And at the same time, I had the luck to meet an Austrian priest, and he was fighting against torture in the Brazilian prison system. And through him, I had the opportunity to make the first visits in the prison system. And we have quite a sad reality in Brazil. We have the third biggest prison population on the world. The last presentation said it was the fourth, so we are imprisoning quite fast, and they are now building even bigger prisons, and they are totally overcrowded. And doing these visits, I encountered human beings, and I saw Brazil society mainly sees prisoners and ex-prisoners as one group of people where they don't want to look, they are turning their back to this kind of people. But in reality, you have any kind of story you're going to find there. In many cases, I see them as victims in the first place, victims of society, people who are stealing milk, going to jail, and there are plenty of people, they even shouldn't go, or they even wouldn't go in other places in the world, they wouldn't go to prison that far. So with this in mind, and the idea of my upcycling product, I was thinking about to combine it, to use decent work and the employment of ex-prisoners to reduce crime in Brazil. So as you have to know, here you see how overcrowded Brazilian prisons are. You have to know that 70 to 80% of criminal acts in Brazil are executed by ex-prisoners. So this shows quite well how little opportunities they have. Even if they go out, I imagine that they, coming out of prison, they say, I never will go back there. But after trying several times and not finding an opportunity, everybody needs a living. Most of them go back to prison. And this is the evolution. It's not easy to find data or current precise data about the prison population in Brazil, but it's now about 600 or nearly 700,000 ex-prisoners. So it's just, let me see. I think it just tripled since I went to Brazil. And on the other hand, the main idea, Carrie didn't say it today, but she talked about it in other presentations. When I saw a documentary on the internet, which is called The White Gold from Environmental Justice Foundation, I was totally shocked about the impact of cotton. And I don't know, probably most of you are aware of this, what happened in Kazakhstan. And if you compare it with Brazil, we are the fourth biggest conventional cotton producer. Just 1% is organic cotton today. And we have huge amounts of drinking water in Brazil. So we should not run in problems like Kazakhstan did. So the Kazakhstan used to live from fishing, and the huge lake, Aral Sea, totally dried out, and today you find these images of fishing boats in an intoxicated desert landscape. So I thought this is much more than an opportunity. It's shouting to act in this area. Just few data here. I guess the most of you probably know. So cotton is the most aggressive agricultural product. It's 3% of the worldwide agri-negocio, and it takes 25% of all chemical pesticides and fertilizers. And 20,000 cotton field workers die yearly worldwide of intoxication. Now, like I said, Brazil is the fourth largest cotton producer, and today less than 1% is organic cotton, but it's luckily it's rising together with the demand. And organic cotton is a much more main part of organic cotton comes from India. It's GOT certified, and for sure not the best universe or the best situation, but for sure much, much better than use conventional cotton. So because of this, we changed from the upcycling bags to the company which is today called Pano Social. We started up really slowly with our first collection, organic cotton, with natural dye, and even the silk screen was done with natural pigmentation. And it didn't took long. All our products are going out with this mark, you know, to show our values. And it didn't long until Greenpeace found us. And they found us on the internet, and they came with the demand of organic cotton t-shirts, of course. And they said the silk screen needs to be based on water-based silk. And as we could offer them natural pigmentation, which was done here, they were quite delighted, and they are still one of our bigger clients today. So we use, not always, but where we can, we use natural pigmentation. We have some partners, but we are soon going to implement this and to teach our workers to execute this, which is a beautiful handcraft. And when we attended first time the first job for Greenpeace, we haven't had our own company, our own sewing factory, and even not silk screen. So we went to our supplier and we said, okay, we give you this job, which is quite a huge demand of, it was quite a big job for thousands of t-shirts. And we said, we put it with the connection that he get a helper, which is an ex-prisoner, you know. And after the job, Lucas, the ex-prisoner, got contracted by the company, which was one of the first successes we had. We were looking at a certain point to have our own garment factory, small one still, but we were looking to find some investment, and we made a social enterprise who is investing in social enterprises, and so they just invest in social enterprises. I didn't know until then the social enterprise who defined by Muhammad Yunus, but we were totally delighted and we totally appreciate it. So social enterprises do not exist in Brazil today, but there are people working on it that make it happen, so we are limited. But we designed a paper which, you know, a commitment that we act like a social enterprise. We developed 14 indicators together. PaintGV is the investment group, the social enterprise, and together with the University of Sao Paulo and Pano Social, together we developed 14 indicators, which are mainly social, environmental, and financial indicators. The beautiful thing here as well is that the investors, mainly private people, they don't want interest in return, they want impact. You know, they're giving money to get impact. So if we reach 80% or more, we don't pay any interest. And if we are below, there's some steps, you know, we pay little, very little interest. And even if below 50%, we pay much less interest than to a bank, for example. We were already connected with all the organizations and institutes who work together with, or who work with the prison system and the people who best the prison system. But at the moment where we have had the investment and we needed to make our first contractions, and we were looking for people who already had abilities in this industry, because there is garment industry inside of the prison system. None of them could indicate or send us people, you know. So I imagine they have long lists of people needing work to be re-put into the market. But if you looking precisely for a sewer, you know, they can't filter people. And so we, you know, we needed to act on our own, and we made a post on Facebook, which was wanted ex-prisoner with capabilities in sewing, you know. And it totally went viral. It was 5,700 times it was shared, and it got 1.5 million visualizations. And people in Sao Paulo didn't believe, or in Brazil didn't believe, how anybody could, you know, could be looking for ex-prisoners. So, and the response was immensely positive, you know. So it was quite a proof that showed us that we are, that we have lots of support, you know, for the action we are doing. And these are just some of the shots from 70 people we interviewed after this post. And as a social enterprise, we dedicate 80% of our work is dedicated for production, and 10% is for human development, where we make practices like meditation, Falun Dafa, which is a Chinese practice, and 10% of our time is dedicated to train the people, you know, because we have to lift up the quality and production standard, and we have to capacitate them. And our focus is pretty much to train them, you know. Yeah, actually, that's it. No, sorry. This slide escaped. So I just want to, this is Paulo, you know, this is the first contraction we made. Paulo unfortunately he left us last October, he faded away. And he was 28 years in prison. He was in prison for bank robbery, and he was against the system during dictatorship in Brazil. We had a right dictatorship. This is Reginaldo. He's 18 years in prison. He said he coming out of crime, he took 5 people out of crime because he has 4 children, you know, and him making the change, you know, means 5 people making the change. And yeah. Cristiane, she is not an ex-prisoner, but she used to sell water on the streets of Sao Paulo, and he has a son, and she was showing this, her mission was to show her son that she doesn't need, or nobody needs to do something wrong for living, you know. And she's quite a fighter, and the third time she said, she came to us, she asked if she needs to do any crime to work with us, you know. So, so she's with us until today to prevent crime. This is Ricardo, 5 years prison, armed robbery, you know, a highly talented guy. Unfortunately, he's a crack user, which is quite a big issue in Brazil, and people don't say in the interview that they are a crack user, you know, but all of them, they are really totally committed and beautiful people. Karini is our social assistant, also ex-prisoner. Wellington, Kauai. Yeah, this is, so we have the company of Pano Social, and we have the brand, our humble brand of Pano Social. And as a company, we produce, because we are aware that, you know, if you talk about fashion and sustainability, probably slow fashion is the most sustainable, slow fashion and slow consumption. As we have the compromise to contract as many ex-prisoners as possible, you know, we need to scale it up. And so we are producing for our company, we are producing private labor, so we help people who want to produce in a sustainable and ethical manner. And we are also producing institutional, we are doing a lot of NGOs, you know, any kind of NGO is quite delighted with the work we are doing. And we are also attending many companies, you know, and in the cases of the companies, we can offer them, you know, every company nowadays has its indicators, you know, and these indicators are no more just financial indicators, you know, so they have indicators of prime energy and water usage and stuff like this. And if a company just changes her uniforms to sustainable uniforms, this will have quite impact on their indicators, you know. So this is, you saw one before as well, all our products go out with this message. Some of our clients, this is inside here, this stamp. And some of the clients, they insist to put it on the, you know, on the manga, you know, to put it on the outside. These are some of our clients. We also participated at the Sao Paulo Fashion Week this year, which was actually not our fashion week, because there's another beautiful project which is called Ponto Firme, which is doing crochet inside of the prison system. So everything which is crochet was done by this project Ponto Firme, the stylist Gustavo Silvestre, and the contemporary parts were done by Pano Social. We are going to be a B company, B corporation. We are just in this process. And this is little outdated, our family. Yeah, and I like this image so much, you know. So I had to put it on at the end of the presentation, and I think, how could I say, you know, for myself, I think I found it, you know. So I think a lot of people, they are still looking for happiness in shopping malls, you know, or through consumption, you know, but you won't find happiness in consumption, you know. And if you're seeking for happiness, you have to give something. You cannot acquire it, you know. And I think that the human being, they have the urge to help, you know. And that's what human beings, yeah. And I think that this is, you know, happiness comes if you give something, if you can help something, you know. So that's where this image should be. Thanks for having me.
Please, this is your, No. Very good. I'm very impressed. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Very, very, very nice. How many employees do you have, more or less?
We have exactly 15 employees, and there are six ex-prisoners.
Yeah.
We started off with just ex-prisoners, but we couldn't lift quality and productivity to a constant level, so we had to make some changes and get some professional people into the team. But at the same time, we thought if we just take a lot of ex-prisoners and we put them together in a plant, you know,
Yeah.
It's not the best environment if you want to
Create and
if you resocialize
Size it,
them,
yeah.
you know. And it's very rich for both parts, you know. It's very important also for the common people, you know, to see what are, you know,
Yeah, to
to
work with them.
meet the people and know the people, you know.
Yeah, I think it's very, very interesting, and also very true that what you say, you know, where is happiness, you know, and I think give is receive.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
always. Bueno, do you have any question? Yes, over there, please. Allá.
Hi, I'm sorry. I don't necessarily have a question. I just wanted to encourage you and thank you for helping these prisoners. I'm a designer, I'm a professor here at Miami Fashion Institute, and I'm a minister as well. So I deal with people that have been on crack, they've been on all different type of drugs and just, you know, different abusive situations, but it's a blessing that you're reaching out from your heart and you're giving these people the opportunity to change their lives. Creative people, sometimes they lose their mind, they lose their senses, they don't have an outlet. So when you mentioned the young man or some of the people that were on crack, but they're working for your business, they're creating, it's a blessing. And I commend you and I encourage you to keep on going. May God bless you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I had to, I think it was no question, but I will still answer it. I once met a Japanese guy. We have the biggest Japanese community in Sao Paulo. And 1.5 years, I was going to Reiki, you know, and it was voluntary. And they attended 70 people. And in the meanwhile, a Japanese guy was just making a speech saying, don't believe anything I'm telling my experiences, make your own experiences. And he told me something which was very important for me, especially together with this work, you know, because maybe before, yeah, sure, I have thought differently before, you know. And he said that the big question, what are we doing on this planet? What is our mission on this planet? He said, I came to this planet to save one person, and this person is me. You know, and if anybody would have said this to me one day before, you know, I would have thought totally you're an egoist, you know. But it's deeply true. I didn't have this, you know, and that's actually something which me protects, you know, because I can't help anybody. I can give opportunities to the people, but who needs to help them are they self, you know. So, and it would hurt me if I want to save the world, you know, and I can't. I would suffer probably with this. And so I just want to save my world, you know. And also I have to say, I think frequently people think that we are helping ex-prisoners, but we are not. We are helping the society, you know. Like I said before, 70 to 80% of the criminal acts are executed by ex-prisoners, you know. And we also have to, our mission as well is to break the prejudice who exist in Brazil, you know. So we can change it alone, you know. But to inspire other companies, you know, to also take a look at it and see it as something really important, you know.
And also, I think that you're helping a lot to help all of us, you know, to think about that those are people who make a mistake, but we give them a chance, you know. We have to give them a chance, because if not, what are their possibilities after that, okay?
Yeah.
So we have to show them and to show everybody that they must have another chance.
Yeah. I also think that our society, we pretty much see mistake as something, you know, you should not commit, you know. But actually, I think that we are learning from mistakes, you know.
And we all commit. We all commit a lot of mistakes.
If the more mistakes you commit, the more you learn probably. And people who don't commit mistakes, they probably don't
I don't know
do
any, I don't know
do many
anyone. I
action,
don't know
you
any
know?
of those people. So, do we have any other questions? Someone wants to say something, wants to ask something to Jeffrey? Yes, please.
Sí.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeffrey. It was a nice talk. Remember me, one of my first job was as a fashion designer, but the facilities were in the prison in Mexico. And one was in this women's section, one was in the men's section. And I met a lot of good people that they were bad people, you know, because sometimes they told me what they did. And it was very, very impressive because I was 22, 23 years old. But it was amazing, and I think I learned a lot from them. And they were working, first of all, to get money to send to their families, you know, which was like very impressive for me because they're up there, have families, and they still have dreams. So that was the important thing for me that I learned from them. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
And
you.
why did you move to Brazil?
The question is more, why did I move abroad from Austria? I got a little bit bored, you know?
Uh-huh.
And I loved Berlin, but Berlin was the same language. I knew Berlin quite well. So, yeah, all of my sisters and brothers, they knew much more from the world than I did. And I haven't left Europe until then, you know. So I needed to see the world, and actually every Austrian should, you know. We have mountains on each side, you know, and someone might believe that the world is just like this, you know. Same thing in Brazil as well, you know. They get very frequently, the people say, again, it's a gringo, and they name us, you know, they love gringos. The only country who loves gringos, but they say, again, you know, it's always a foreigner who is doing something, you know, and the Brazilian people don't do something. So I think maybe they might think that it's normal, you know, that you go out of house and it's full of homeless people. So it's, yeah.
So and now you there. I mean, you don't want to spread the pano social.
Yeah, now I'm there. Now I have how can I say? Now I have this mission there, and I can't go away now. You know, I already wanted to run away before, but at the moment I'm in Sao Paulo,
and for now you're doing only shirts or T-shirts, or
we are expanding already, but we started with simple products, you know, to make it happen. We make eco bags. T-shirts, aprons. Do you call them aprons?
Sí, yes.
Yeah, we are producing, but we are also producing uniforms for companies. So we by strategy, we work with our own garment office, you know, but we also work with partner. And we detected there is a huge lack of qualified garment workers in Brazil. So we want to take advantage of this and put qualified ex-prisoners into our partner net, you know. Wow. This is this is a further step to lift up the impact, you know.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Great. Do we have any other questions? Any comments? No? Why not? Jeffrey, thank you very, very much. Did you have a good time? We have a great time. Thank you.